Welcome to the show. If you're part of a military family, there's a good chance that you experience things and feelings, and you have to address issues that non military families don't have to deal with. We just can't sweep these things under the rug, things like abuse and PTSD. And my next author, SM Rush, Sandra, has written a book on this. It's called Blast from the Past, and it's got a powerful message specifically for women of military families. Welcome, Sandra. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the book and just start off with what the general message is, the overall message.
It's basically it's an empowering message for people that suffer with PTSD, have symptoms with PTSD, domestic abuse, anyone that feels they are facing the transition of leaving the forces and feel there's no future for them. And this is part of learning, helping and supporting those in need.
That they don't have to suffer in silence, that there's help, right? And they're in a
There is help.
community. Right.
I'm in touch with so many people. There is help out there. They're willing to listen to them. Start by talking. If you cannot bring yourself to tell a friend, just think about how much you're putting yourself through, maybe your family. You can't hide these feelings. They are visible. They're visible by the things you do, you say, the way you, especially domestic abuse, you cover yourself up. You've got marks. You can't hide them. And people, they lie to themselves. It's like when someone says, I wouldn't have done that if I didn't love you. Yeah. And that's not love.
Right.
You have
abuse. You're talking about the abuse and the unhealthy side that comes from being in the military, right? Right.
Yes, it is. Because you feel if you leave the military, it doesn't matter when or where or how it happens, but it's not about just being out of the family. It's about making a new life. And it's the transition of, there is people out there, they're frightened of losing the camaraderie, they're frightened of losing that military family unit that they've always had the security with. This doesn't end. You just make a bigger family. There's veterans I'm in touch with that do so many worthwhile charities, organisations, serving military now, willing to support the transition period. Family units that need the support, even if it's down to housing or benefits or writing a CV. There is help out there. And on the domestic point,
right,
it is important to know when to step back, look at your life and say,
I need help.
When does it end?
Right.
You know, it's got to be, it's your decision. No one can tell you to leave. No one can tell you to stay. You have to make that decision. But when someone strikes out, is that really loving someone?
Right, right. Well, you deal a lot with PTSD, and that can result in not just hurting our families, but self-harming, you talk about.
Yes, I have come across quite a few cases. There's many faces of PTSD, self-harming, sometimes ends in death tragically. But there's also the fact that some are in prison for violent crimes associated with PTSD, mental health. They shouldn't be there, or they should have been treated sooner.
Yeah.
And sadly, these people have been in prison through violent conduct that they have suffered in a combat zone.
Right. Right. That's not natural. And people need help. And that's really what this book is doing, is sharing how to deal with and face problems that might be going on in the family, knowing that there's help. And also one of the things you talk about in your book is how to take off the soldier's uniform and still feel important. And how do you make the transition?
Well, the thing is, to me, it is part of you join up. When you join up and you put the uniform on, you serve with pride.
Right.
You're trained to be a soldier, and you've served your country in part of a family community on a whole, yes, for as long as your service record allows, okay? But when that service comes to an end and it's time to take the uniform off, okay, and leave the military behind, what then? What do these people face?
Wow.
Who trained you how not to be a soldier? Okay. The difficulty of the transition period is becoming a civilian. It can be overwhelming. It's stressful. No, there is no warning of this. This is happening. Okay.
Right.
It's thrown on you. You
just
know
one night it's over.
Yeah,
right.
You just hand your uniform in and it's gone.
Right.
Many feel loss of family, abandonment of the people, the country they served, and it's totally overwhelming. It's highly, highly stressful. So many people feel let down by the country they served, especially in the crisis.
And that can result in domestic abuse, which really can happen to anybody.
It's a struggle.
Right.
It's a struggle to cope. The more you try to hide things like, I'm not qualified for that job. Right. How do I drive a tank in Civvy Street? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a tank in Civvy Street? No.
Right.
Right. Not many anyway.
Right. So exactly.
So all these are taken inwardly. They've always been the provider. They've always been, you know, I've earned this wage and our family's okay, we're safe. So those little niggly quarrels, okay.
The now what?
Bigger, okay. And there is people that, honestly, is some of the stories I've heard is it's basically it's overrunning. There's more and more. Recognizing the signs.
Yeah.
Okay. Like so many stories, relationships start happily enough.
So, Sandra, yeah, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but your book is really about hope. Yes. And sharing that these people who are transitioning or having problems, PTSD, they're not alone. And your book is more than just a book of hope. You are actually a resource of hope.
Well, it's recognizing the signs of coming to terms with any of this domestic abuse and PTSD. It's highly important. Look at yourself, look at your attitude, look at the people around you, the concern for your well-being, because these are all telltale signs. Okay. Talk to anyone, contact me, contact anyone. I've got professional people that I can put you in contact with. I've got so many people just wanting to say, look, this was me. And so many readers have said, this has happened to me. You know, it's moving forward.
Yeah, what really strikes me is the non-judgment, the narrative that comes across. So you just have a very loving, accepting, understanding tone to the book. Again, this is Blast from the Past by S.M. Rush. Sandra, we could easily talk for a couple hours about this, but want to encourage you, buy the book. It's available on Amazon. Find out more. You can talk to Sandra directly. She would love to be able to connect you and get you networked into her people.
I'm here to help.
Yeah. Sandra, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.